we have a problem. I'm reticent to say a huge problem for fear of tempting fate, but between you and I, this week has been a bit of a flipping nightmare. Now, I'm no plumber, nor am I a roofer or a gutterist, if that's a thing, but I'm fairly certain that this is not what is supposed to happen when it rains. Jazzy, Quincy and I had planned to spend this week finishing off the bay window before the weather sets in and destroys all the hard work and effort we've put in so far, and to start plastering before winter comes and it gets too cold for it to dry, leaving us in a positive plastering pickle. Ho ho ho! However, no such luck for us. Instead, we have spent the week desperately trying to stop water from destroying our home. Now, when God said, "I command the water under the sky to come together in one place," I've always assumed he was talking about the oceans. But this week, it has very much felt like he was referring to Staffordshire. However, in the words of the one and only Dolly Parton, if you want the rainbow, you gotta put up with the rain.
And just like that, it is autumn. I'm in a polo neck, a coat, umbrella, the works. It's a pretty miserable day here today. We were planning on doing more work on the bay window and plastering, but since we've come here today and it's really bad weather, we've noticed a lot of the gutters aren't sitting right.
Ah, not sitting right. That's the technical term for this then.
They're leaking in the wrong places and some of the downpipes are clearly blocked. So that's going to be our day today instead. Lots to do, so a nice rainy day. Quincy's absolutely furious to be here in the rain. Cats are around my feet as usual, so please don't trip me up while I'm on camera.
Quincy and Borgia doing their obligatory morning rain dance.
Okay, these ones at the back, we did quite a lot of work on these, didn't we, last summer?
Of course, that reminds me. It was actually back in February when King Julian, Jazzy and myself spent an entire week restoring the gutter and downpipes on this office corner. It was on this fateful day that Jazzy, aka the Queen of Slapdash, unceremoniously jettisoned my extremely expensive precision spirit level off of the roof. And frankly, it has never been the same since.
Oh, yeah, we never attached this flat, did we? We need to do that. Because there's a downpipe that comes here, which obviously, because at the moment it's actually just going into the foundations. Okay. That's probably a priority.
Yes, probably. Now this back porch is a little cursed, bless it. It suffers from a touch of subsidence, probably caused by the inefficacy of the downpipe. Please ignore the fact that we need to repoint this entire corner for the moment. It's on the list.
You've been eating plaster.
Now you may remember from back in February, if you don't, make sure to watch that video after this one to catch up, that we have been reattaching our downpipes using homemade timber plugs and monstrous downpipe nails. The problem we have with this drain in particular is that for some unbeknown reason, the drain is set slightly forward from the pipes, meaning the water misses the drain entirely. So after reattaching the original hopper and fastening the downpipe to the wall, it was time to get creative. I call this invention the lead-billed platypus. By snipping a wee slipper of lead and attaching it to the downpipe outlet, we were able to bridge this bizarre little gap, hopefully aiding the rainwater into the drain. Naturally, it was essential that we scalloped the edge. Now we didn't have to wait long to test our theory, because literally moments after the lead-billed platypus had been installed, the heavens opened. I have no idea what this adhesive is made of, but my goodness, it is miraculous. So after getting completely soaked to the bone, we decided that before we continued to tackle the disastrous gutters and drains, that today was a good day to have our first fire of the season. So that at the very least, we had a warm, dry room that we could escape back into.
Pretty happy with that. We managed to not fill the room with smoke, which we definitely have done a few times in the past when we've lit this log burner. Anyway, managed to get it warm, so the cats and Quincy will be very happy. But most importantly, when we're doing these gutters, it's going to be nice to have somewhere to come back and dry off while we have a cup of tea or a coffee. What was I going to say? My mind went blank.
That's okay, darling. It's been a long week. Unfortunately, the rain kept coming, and in the end we decided it was either crack out a couple of snorkels or find some indoor jobs to do. So we spent the rest of the day doing even more preparation for our imminent plastering. We will no doubt regret it, but we've decided to go fully traditional on our bedroom and dressing room walls and plaster on to laths. Before we do this, however, we had to make sure that all the laths were well secured. It was at exactly this point that my treasure senses started to tingle, and I spotted something hidden inside the wall. Say hello, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's Treasure Tuesday. Playing with this treasure took up the rest of the day. Luckily, however, we have been staying at Butler's Lodge this week, so we decided to head back and start afresh in the morning.
Good morning. So we're here at Butler's Lodge this week. It's closed for the week while we do lots of redecorating. We've got new carpets going in, boilers being serviced, all that good stuff before we hit the busy autumn-winter season. Me and Jack are staying here this week so we can manage all that, but also most importantly we can have some really early starts at Duncombe House and some late nights. It's a gorgeous morning out here, and I have to say waking up here and having the mist all across these fields in the morning is a lovely way to wake up. And of course we have our faithful Quincy with us as always. Also, while I'm here, does anyone think that we should repaint the outside of Butler's Lodge, the woodwork, to match Duncombe House in our Duncombe House green? And now I've thought of the idea, I can't not see it. We have these incredible gables that you can see up there, which are actually in really, really good condition. Let me know what you think, if it will be like our kind of estate colour, or you think I should stay grey.
After the storm comes the calm. So after a terribly civilised commute down the drive, it was time to tackle the remaining ghastly gutters and disastrous drains before the next deluge. First stop, it was back to our old friend the office, which, despite Jazzy's expert assessment the day before,
That one looks pretty good.
was completely blocked with leaves. Leaves, however, what with us being custodians of a gargantuan copper beach called Clive, are becoming our speciality.
Yesterday we got pretty badly
That's Dean off for some early morning murdering.
rained off while we were mid fixing the gutters, although we were able to see our little contraption.
Contraption is slightly rude. That is a heritage-approved, soon-to-be patented, lead-build platypus.
Actually worked quite well, catching all the rainwater, although it did mean all the ones that I said, oh, that one's fine. That one looks pretty good. It's not fine, exactly like the one behind me. So it was literal thunderstorms, so we couldn't carry on doing all the gutters. So we did some plastering instead.
More on that in next week's episode.
Joy of joys. And now we're going back and looking at some of the gutters, seeing what works, because today it's actually sunny.
Again here, another perfect example of why a pith helmet is an essential piece of renovation PPE. Ah, jolly good. Excellent job, darling. Now this gutter will stay empty for approximately 30 minutes before Clive drops even more leaves directly into it and we have to do this whole thing again.
I estimate in a few short weeks, all of this is going to be in our gutters, and we'll be doing the gutters all over again.
Told you so.
That one was quite an easy win. It was just full of leaves and some other stuff, so pretty happy with that one. I have a feeling the next one's not going to be such an easy win. We need to put this up on this corner. This is actually the room we just started plastering, and we found a massive rotten joist in the corner.
Oh yes, rotten joist. And there was me, concentrating on the treasure.
Wish us luck.
Wish us luck indeed. We'd completely forgotten that when we removed all of these gutters so that we could repair and repaint them, we had the scaffolding up. Now that's gone, this becomes a rather treacherous teetering on the tip of a ladder task requiring immense amounts of temerity. To my delight, however, this badger slipped in surprisingly easily, so it was just a matter of giving the old girl a test before moving on to the next one. Now from my perspective on the roof, all was going rather well, but perhaps unsurprisingly, as always, solving one problem seems to perpetually create another. Now the water was being correctly channeled into the drain and not sprinkled onto the flower bed, we suddenly realised that we had a blockage. So began what I can only describe as an hour of slimy, cold pain. We started optimistically with the old hand. Now I don't know about you, but I can't say I'm a huge fan of plunging my arm into the dark unknown, but sometimes needs must. Initially I was rather buoyed by the amount of detritus I was able to scoop out and was quietly confident it would be a quick fix. I never learn. After clearing out all the rubbish, she still wasn't sucking, so we upgraded and went in with the hose. Unfortunately, all this seemed to do was add more water to proceedings, so we quickly decided to upgrade again and deploy the Wurzel Gurzler. Another 20 minutes of wurzling, gurzling, jiggling and twisting were to no avail, and in the end, I'm ashamed to say, we gave up. So, if anyone out there has any bright ideas as to how we can unblock this drain, please do let us know in the comments. Ideally before winter comes and the southwest corner of Duncombe House falls down. Next up, my friends, it's the downpipe you've all been waiting for, the gravity-defying hopper from hell.
So is this the one that was overflowing when we had the storms yesterday?
I'll refer you to my previous. We decided this time to work from the bottom up to avoid disappointment. So, after establishing that the drain itself was clear...
Where are these drains actually going?
Under the house, one presumes.
Does anyone know?
Well, yes, someone must know, darling.
Is that a stupid question? Do they go under the house?
Jolly good. We moved up to see where the blockage might be. Now, the mystery of the disastrous downpipe, in the end, turned out to be not all that mysterious. It turns out that if your hopper has decided to identify as a flower pot, it ceases to perform the basic roles required of a hopper. So after some minor excavation and landscaping, the midriff was clear and we could test the whole darn lot. Despite the hose pipe coming apart in my hand, exploding in my face and very nearly rendering me a victim of gravity, we were able to carry out our test, and to our delight, it was mission successful.
Awesome, so that's another one down. Oh, come on. You want to be on camera. One more to go.
And ging, gang, golly, have we saved the best till last. Not only does this final gutter manage the largest percentage surface area of our roof, it also feeds our top secret, subterranean, cubby, broccoli-worthy rainwater collection tank. Now, this final gutter is going to take exceptional teamwork. The dangers are beyond measure, and Jazzy and I are going to need to be razor focused at all times.
So I was just sat here playing with the cats and Quincy while Jack's off doing something, and I found something. We have a tap.
See what I'm dealing with, ladies and gentlemen?
The section that needs to go on behind me, we actually took that off when we had scaffolding, and now we don't have scaffolding. So we're just trying to work out how we're going to do that exactly.
That's known as a royal we in England.
I think it came off in 2 pieces from memory. So yeah, I think Jack's going to try and walk it up in 1 piece up the ladder. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I remember now why I didn't want to paint under here. It's because there's a wasp nest.
Which I was only made aware of days later when I started going through this footage. So after a little more gravity-defying ladder teetering, this time with wasps attacking me instead of water, and some unholy adhesive application, we were ready for testing. It was whilst I was up the ladder trying again not to plummet to my death that my treasure senses once more began to tingle, as I noticed a message inscribed on the soil breather flashing. So if anybody knows a roofer by the name of Mr. or Mrs. Towle that was working in the wider Ashbourne area in the mid-1980s, please get in touch. Now, whilst we're up on the roof, I'm going to share with you quickly one of the little idiosyncratic games we've come to play here at Duncombe House. The challenge is simple. When people come to visit, if they're brave enough to leap the gap from the pantry roof to the lawn, they can take home a piece of treasure. Now, the only problem is, so far, I am still yet to persuade Jazzy to make the jump. Now, revealing to you all that she's a big old chicken does seem a touch cruel, but considering she didn't tell me about the wasp nest and left me teetering at the top of a ladder to look at an old tap, I think it's only fair.
Come on.
Oh well, maybe another day. So after finally testing the last gutter, we were able to once more think about our next renovation play. As I mentioned previously, we are desperately running out of time to finish the bay window and to get plaster on the walls before winter arrives. So, if you enjoy watching us hopelessly trying to find enough hours in the day to keep our proverbial renovation heads above water, then please make sure you like, subscribe, and pop on those notifications so that you don't miss out on a single drop of our funny little journey. We will see you all in 1 week's time, where we will be sharing with you the abject chaos which has been the start of our plastering. Ladies and gentlemen, have a majestic week. TTFN.